the golden hour. Like many photographers, I like this time of day for how it can make even the most mundane fields of grasses look beautiful. Birdsong decorated the air. I delighted as I spotted some daisies tucked in among the grass. Looks like I'm walking on my stilts again today. Supplies stashed in my colorful bag, I set out on a journey. If you're wondering, this is what the inside of the bag looks like. A slight mist rose from the creek surface. On the other side of the bridge, a female goldeneye decided to go for a walk on land. I'm not sure what her intent was, but she seemed very determined. Notice how she uses her tail to help keep her footing and keep herself from sliding backwards. Eventually, the slope proved to be too much for her, and she joined her friend back in the water. So just for a little bit of context, I'm at my favorite lookout. You can see the creek down there. And there are female goldeneye ducks flying all over the place. Of course, you can't see any right now, but they are out there. And I zoom in, there is a nest right there in that hole. It actually was a little lower. Goldeneyes nest in tree cavities, often abandoned by bigger pileated woodpeckers. Some of them also act as brood parasites, meaning that they will lay their eggs in the nests of others. This behavior helps their own genes be passed on to the next generation by literally not putting all your eggs in one basket, as some of their offspring are more likely to survive to adulthood. The females will watch the nest and wait for the nest owner to leave, so they can sneak in and lay an egg. It's interesting to think how a duck can time laying an egg so precisely and do it quickly without being caught. You may wonder where the males are. Those lucky ducks have headed off to larger lakes, where they'll molt their feathers and prepare for the migration back south. Meanwhile, the females are left to defend the nest and raise the young. And there's some wild sarsaparilla berries growing. Here at the other muskrat pond. No ducks, and no muskrat. Zoom in. You can see them. Tadpoles. Lots and lots of them. Around the pond were lots of webs, like this orb web. And this sheet web. Insects fall into the hammock and then are wrapped up from underneath. This female goldeneye looked sleepy despite the ravens calling in the distance. She decided to roll on her side to do some stretching. That wing stretch looks like it would feel good. And after some preening, it was time to stretch the other side. Bit of an update on the beaver dam. Looks like it's broken. So a fair bit of debris down there. So looks like its dam has been washed away. We'll have to rebuild. So my goal this morning was actually to go all the way down the trail and head up to the North Saskatchewan River just for the walk. It takes about 2 hours usually each way. But with the amount that I am dawdling, I can see that I'm not going to make it up that far. I haven't even got out of the areas that I usually wander around. And it doesn't help either that in the distant forest somewhere I can actually hear a bunch of ravens, and they sound very excited over something. So they probably found something to eat. That was a bit of a slope there. Kind of hard to talk and go up. But yeah, so if I see that, then I might be distracted by that too. Earlier this spring, I had enjoyed seeing the English bluebells on a number of your channels. I mentioned I wanted to find some of our local bluebells for comparison, and on this hike I managed to see quite a few. They don't grow in large quantities like the English ones, but they're still nice to spot in the shady forests. This last clip shows how the young flower buds are a bit pinkish or purplish. I continued on. The trail winds and crosses the Whitemud Creek several times. During the big storms, sometimes the big trees fall. Usually it's in a safe direction, but sometimes they do cross the trail. It's like some people have gone over maybe.
Yeah.
But I guess, yeah, there seems to be a trail this way.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot how
Oh yeah, this has been down for quite a while then. There's a good trail.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see the road.
yeah.
Yeah,
A little bit of a
that's how I
branch.
came in here
Sorry.
earlier.
Yeah.
Oh,
There we go.
this is easier. Earlier I had to go just
Oh,
around and around.
yeah. Well, met a person on the way, and I ended up walking up together across that large tree that had fallen, which was pretty exciting. But it looks like it had been there for a few days because there was quite a trail already around it. And I guess she's a hairdresser. I was in southern Edmonton as well. I got an invitation to go get my hair cut, but we'll see if that happens. I'm not sure. yeah, just gonna continue on my way, heading up north. I don't know how far I'm gonna get. Might go to a really nice lookout point, so let's see how that goes. Don't know if you can see, but there's actually a lot of bluebells in there. Very nice. I like this section of the forest. It's more of a pine forest. Some of the trees get very, very large. Yeah, this is the White Mud. Why this place is named White Mud. And you can see where the water runoff is. Unfortunately, people kind of make trails up there too. You can see a little bit of what we would call hoodoos if this was down in Drumheller. But the harder mud basically acts as a cap, and then it erodes underneath.
시작할 때 비가 왔어. 주차장에서 거기까지 걷기까지 좀 멀어갖고 애들
I'm still climbing up the same hill. You can hear getting a little bit labored. Oh my goodness. Made it. First things first. Let's do a view of where I just came from. So it looks like they're growing corn up here. This is the U of A experimental farms. Yeah, I can't even see any buildings off in the distance, but it looks like there's somebody working in the field. A little vehicle over there. You can see various crops being grown. I think I've mentioned too in my other videos, on the other side of 119th is another section of the farms where they have cattle. They used to do sheep farming. I'm not sure if they still do or not. I haven't seen the sheep in a few years. And they also do chicken farms too over there. So yeah, very nice area. We used to live in that apartment right there. We used to have a great view of the other side of the street, so the other side of the farms. But yeah, this used to be a frequent area for walking. This is one of my favorite views of the valley as well. I have a lot of favorite views of the valley. But you can definitely see a lot. That structure over there, I think they use for transporting gas, if I'm not mistaken. There's a bunch of signs over there that of course they keep out and all that. And then, just for a frame of reference, north would be approximately that way. And then the North Saskatchewan is also further that way as well. and then off in the other direction, so the ski hill that I just walked through, which I didn't film, is over there, and then so is the, oh gosh, what is that? The White Mud Freeway is also, which cuts through the entirety of Edmonton, is off that way too. Where the ski hill now stands used to be one of the many coal mines that used to be in the area. The White Mud Creek coal mine closed in 1970. It's interesting to think how the landscape has changed over the years and been allowed to return to nature to some extent. The campground by the ski hill has a fun family activity where you can buy a bag of dirt and use a mining sluice to hunt for gems and fossils. I took a few moments to rest, rehydrate, and enjoy an apple before continuing on my journey. Of course, I also took in the surroundings. Apples are one of my favorite snacks to eat on the trail. I eat them from the bottom upwards, so that way there's no core to worry about when you're done. It takes a bit of practice to perfect though, as you have to bite carefully to avoid getting the core stuck in your teeth. So it might be a little hard to see from here, but if you recall, I climbed that hill earlier. So the hill, if I can get my finger out in there, goes up around that way. So the UAA farms are at the top. Not sure why I cut myself off. I might have been getting tired. I passed under what I feel is a dividing line towards the north end of the creek. I came across a small murder of crows. It looks like they had just finished bathing and were now preening and drying their wings in the sun. Keep your eye on the one in behind. The second bird, that is. He preens himself. He preens his friend. First he stretches. And then I guess he's airing out his feathers. Whatever he was doing, it looked like it felt good. I continued on. I'm sure many of you can relate to the trees producing copious amounts of seeds in spring and early summer. The ones here are no exception, and in some areas it coats other plants, and even gathers on the ground like snow.
See, it's just coating the fluffy cotton. I just wanted to show that there's a bit of construction going on here. They are building kind of I can't remember what it's going to be directly called, but it is a sort of indigenous healing lodge. So there will be a space to have ceremonies in, and I believe even a space for sweat lodges as well. So it'll be interesting to see that once it's finished. But for right now, it's making a fair bit of noise in the creek valley. So this is the bridge on Fox Drive. So I am almost there. It's been a nice walk. Not too strenuous. Actually not strenuous at all. I haven't been walking fast. It took me about way too long. Embarrassingly long to say even. So I've never actually crossed on this side of the bridge. So I guess I'll probably go up this way. And there's a little walking bridge on the other side of these bushes over here. And then I'll probably come back and then go back around on that side and then head home. Roses are nice. And I do believe that's high bush cranberry over there. Look at that. Beautiful. Very nice. And wow, a big sign for Fort Edmonton. So Fort Edmonton is just, if I continued around, go under the other side of the bridge, I would see Fort Edmonton. There's a big art project. This one was kind of controversial. A big pile of balls. They're sparkly.
And here's the footbridge that I mentioned earlier.
There's actually quite a few people fishing today. It's kind of neat. Very nice day for it. Little muskrats swimming out there. That's fun.
This is the boat formerly known as the Edmonton Queen, now the Edmonton Riverboat. This paddle wheel boat was damaged in 2020 after ice on the North Saskatchewan River pushed the boat from its moorings. Since then, it's been sitting here, where the Whitemud Creek flows into the river, being repaired. From what I heard on the news, the boat finally returned to the water the day after I filmed this. Here's a look at one of the giants of the valley.
Frame of reference. There's my hand. I can't even back the camera up enough to film the whole thing. That's a big tree.
On my way back, I saw a couple of sandpipers. This one is a solitary sandpiper. You can hear a pileated woodpecker in the background. Look at the top of his head. It looks like he was a little alarmed at the spotted sandpiper who showed up. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have a great day.